Hey, I wanted to talk about something this morning. As of January 1st, there's going to be a huge change in the state of Missouri regarding concealed carry laws. It is something that they've called constitutional carry. Basically, it says if you can legally possess a gun, then you can legally carry it concealed, or I guess openly. Anyway, I've got a lot of questions on how this thing's going to work. So we contacted Dan Terry. He's the Assistant Chief of Police for the city of New Haven. And Assistant Chief Terry, how are you this morning? Thanks for being with us on the KLPW Morning Show.
Thank you, Paul. I'm doing fine. How about you?
We're doing great here. Beautiful day. Hey, so tell me, what does it take to legally possess a firearm in the state of Missouri?
Well, the first thing is you can't have a felony on your record.
Okay.
You cannot have a dishonorable discharge from any of the military.
Oh, okay.
You cannot have been judged mentally incompetent in the past 5 years by a judge with an attorney present.
And that's it. Any age requirements?
One more thing.
Okay.
No domestic violence conviction.
Okay.
So those are the four main things you've got to have.
What about age?
Age now is 18.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, to carry without a permit, you can do it at 18. But to get a concealed carry permit, you got to be 19.
Okay, so that's something weird. But why then would anybody, if they don't need a permit to carry concealed, what's the advantage of still going ahead and getting your concealed carry license?
Well, there's a couple of them, and the first one is you can carry now in Missouri and 36 other states if you've got a Missouri permit. Without the Missouri permit, you can't go to any state and carry.
Okay, so the key here is that you have to be able to be in legal possession of a gun. If it's a stolen gun, that's obviously not legal.
Right.
So you would be violating the law if it's some sort of an illegal weapon. And in the past, you had to get some sort of training. So now, no training is required?
That is true.
So anybody who wants to carry a gun, if they meet those criteria, can now legally carry a gun without any training.
They can. Now, there's also a deal about it's got to be concealed.
Oh, so it's not an open... Well, go ahead with that, yeah.
Some places, and this is including New Haven, if they have a rule against open carry, you cannot open carry. St. Louis City, you cannot open carry. Even with or without a permit, you've got to have it concealed.
In the city of St. Louis, the same laws apply. Can any municipalities enforce their own rules when it comes to concealed carry?
When it comes to open carry, they can.
Okay, but not concealed carry.
Right.
So the city of St. Louis, so if you're from New Haven and you're legally able to carry a gun concealed in New Haven, you can go anywhere in the state of Missouri, including the city of St. Louis.
Absolutely.
Okay. No background checks required?
No, sir. Not at all.
Okay, so as a police officer, how does this make you feel? Does this make you more leery when you're pulling somebody over, that they might be carrying concealed? And how do you know whether they're legally carrying concealed?
Let me reword that. If I didn't walk up to every car assuming they've got a gun, I would have been dead by now.
Wow.
I never approach a car without believing they've got a gun in it. This doesn't change a thing.
Holy cow. So every time you pull somebody over, you first assume that they're going to try to kill you?
I assume they've got a weapon and could do it. Absolutely.
Why would anybody want to be a cop? God bless you, sir. God bless you, Dan Terry, for wanting to be a police officer right now, because I can't even fathom that. It would be like every time I walk into a radio station, I think that somebody's going to shoot me. Of course, that's probably the way it is now.
It is.
Well, you got to take into account, though, you don't know who this person is. You don't know. I mean, you have to always err on the side of caution.
That's it, exactly.
Okay, so what's required, or what's the responsibility of the gun owner?
Right at the moment in Missouri, they do not have one. Now, back when I was teaching concealed carry, I pushed that when an officer comes up, you keep your hands where they can see it.
Right.
You tell them you have a concealed carry permit, you have a gun, here's where it's at. That is required, I know, in Texas and some other states. It is not required here.
So you don't have to say, you're not required by law. It's probably a good idea to say, I'm carrying a concealed weapon. Just so you know, officer, I'm legally carrying a concealed weapon, officer. Just wanted to let you know. That's probably a good idea to say that?
That's a very good idea to say that, yes.
But you're not required to. Now,
No.
if someone is walking down the street, if you come across someone who is walking down a highway, he's on the shoulder of a highway. Who knows? Maybe his car broke down. He's walking for gas. Who knows? For whatever reason, he's walking down the highway.
Okay.
For some reason, and maybe there was a call that there was a suspicious person, maybe there had been a burglary in the area, whatever, and you're driving up and you say, okay, I want to figure out what this guy's doing. I want to make sure this isn't somebody that we're looking for. And you come up to him and you approach him and you say, sir, what are you doing? Now, you know, you a lot of people, and you get these people who say their rights. I think it's the Fourth Amendment rights against unreasonable search and seizure. A lot of people would say, I don't have to tell you anything. I don't have to say to you. You don't have to tell them you might be carrying concealed. You don't have to tell them your name. You don't have to provide identification. Is that? I mean, I know that's not what you want to hear, and that's not the way you wish it would go down, but technically, is that the way it is?
Technically, yeah, there's not much I can do about it.
And so that just blows my mind that somebody could be carrying concealed. The officer has no right to know that, and nobody has any right to know that.
True enough. Now, mostly people who carry concealed are very open and honest about things.
Right.
But, yeah, there can be that one who just does not want to cooperate.
How many crimes have been committed, or how many crimes are committed, or how common is it that someone who is legally carrying a firearm commits a crime? Does that happen?
Commits a crime with the firearm?
Of any kind while in possession of a firearm, legal?
The last I heard, and it's been a year or two, it was less than 2%.
See, that's why I have never been opposed to anybody carrying concealed or legally carrying, because by the virtue of what we say, legal carry, if you are legally carrying a firearm, you have every right to do so, and you are probably going to be more aware of the laws. You're going to be more respectful of law. You're going to be more respectful of other people. You may even feel it's a civic duty to protect yourself and your family. So that's good to know that most of the time, those people are almost all of the time that anybody who's carrying concealed is not going to commit a crime.
That's been our experience.
How does it? People who are criminals by the very nature of who they are don't give a darn about gun laws. Correct?
Correct.
So how do you deal with that part of this whole thing?
Well, of course, if they're not doing anything illegal right now, I don't do anything about it. But other than that, I still go in knowing that no matter what happens, I'm going to go home to my family at the end of my shift.
That's great, and that's totally important. Oh, the other question I had. Now, there's also been some changes to the stand your ground laws.
Yes,
I guess
was.
if you're carrying a concealed weapon, you better know what the laws are in regards to when you are allowed to use that weapon or what's expected of you there. So what are those laws like?
Basically, the stand your ground law change took place October 14th. And in a nutshell, if you have a legal right to be there, you cannot be pushed away. It used to be you had a duty to retreat. If something was happening, your first duty was to try and escape. But now, if you have a legal right to be on the streets of St. Charles, then you have a legal right to defend yourself there.
Meaning, if I'm standing on my front porch and someone approaches me, I don't have to go back inside the door. I can stand there with my weapon drawn or not drawn, and What's that law? What's brandishing? Now, I've always heard that term. What's brandishing a firearm?
Brandishing would be pulling it out and pointing it in an angry or threatening manner.
Even if someone's approaching you in an angry or threatening manner?
Well, then you're defending yourself, so whatever you do is going to be pretty much okay, as long as you just don't start shooting at him for no reason. But yeah, pulling your gun out, I would hold it down, make sure he sees it, but it's not pointed at him. Let him know I don't want him on my property.
See, this is something I think that they need to teach even kids in schools. They need to know when police officers are allowed to use lethal force.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to know this, and I don't know why they don't teach this in the schools, because if everybody knew exactly what was expected of them, it would save a lot of lives. You wouldn't have the confusion, hey, I was just, I was running away. I had a gun, but I was running away. I didn't know that if I pointed my gun while I was running away that would be justification for using lethal force. I don't know. Hey, it's an interesting topic, and appreciate it. This is Dan Terry, the Assistant Chief of Police for the City of New Haven, getting us up to date on the new concealed carry law. Goes into effect on January 1st in the state of Missouri. If you don't have a concealed carry permit, you're not going to need one if you're carrying a gun legally. Appreciate all the information this morning, Assistant Chief Dan Terry. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Take care.
That just, I don't know, that